Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with an assembly video for one of our die sets. This is die number 1134, the flip frame pop-up, and you can check out all of our die designs at karenburniston.com. The flip frame has just such a simple little mechanism. It flips the frame up on the left side of the card, and of course that is completely generic, so you can make it any theme you choose. Of the 10 dies that are included in the set, only this one is for the pop-up, and the rest, as you can see, are just excellent decorator dies that you can use for projects beyond pop-up cards. So let's look first at the main frame die, and you do have an option to use it for embossing or stenciling to add some detail to the frame. Especially when a die is brand new and the paper kind of wants to fall out of the die after cutting, if you want to emboss it, I suggest doing the embossing first. You can use any die cutting machine that can accommodate a wafer-thin die, and I am using my Spellbinders Platinum 6. After embossing, then I can just easily set the die back in those grooves again, send it back through my machine with a cutting sandwich. Different die cutting machines may have different sandwiches for embossing, so just check with your machine's manufacturer. Okay, so the two largest rectangles in the set, I'm cutting those next. Then with the smaller of those two rectangles, I am also going to cut it out of white. The set includes this little short edger that has stitch lines on both sides, and I'm going to use that to split the green stitched rectangle into two pieces. So then you end up with two kind of matching pieces with stitch lines all the way around, and you can use that to make like a two-tone rectangle for the frame. So completely optional, but just kind of a fun effect. My favorite glue is LINECO Neutral pH Adhesive. I put that in my fine tip bottle, and we do sell both of those items on our website. All I'm doing here is just layering up the pieces to make my frame. So now I'm going to cut the pop-up mechanism to be able to animate this frame in the card. So this is the piece I need. It can be any cardstock. I would probably just choose a medium weight or heavyweight cardstock, 80 to 100 pound. You always choose your own card size with our dies, and the flip frame will fit in an A2 size card. But for this card, I decided to go a little bit bigger. I started with a piece of cardstock 10 inches by 6 inches and scored in the middle for folding to create a 5 by 6 card. Then I added pattern paper panels to all four sides, and that's mainly just for balance when the card is open so that the back of the card doesn't feel flimsier. In the pop-up platform, there are 3 score lines that the die has made, and so you just want to locate those 3 score lines and pinch them all as mountain folds, which means you're folding away from yourself. With 3 mountain folds, this mechanism is being trained to pop the frame up on the left side of the card, so that's the way it was designed. However, it's easy enough to reverse those 3 folds and make them all 3 valley folds, and when you do that, you would install it so that the frame pops up on the right side of the card. And as you see in this card by Lois, she's combined both. For this card, I'm just doing typical assembly. So I'm going to find the end of the pop-up that has just the single tab, and I'm going to coat that with adhesive. Then I want to turn that over so that that tab is on the right side of the card with the edge of the tab right in the fold of the card. So don't get distracted by your patterned paper. If you've added that in there, you're not trying to line this up with the edge of the pattern paper, you're trying to line this up so that the edge is right in the fold of the card. Now to attach the other side, I want to do that in the flat position. So I'm going to leave that whole platform on the right side of the card and fold down to find the flat position so that I can coat that tab with adhesive. And actually, let me just find another piece of paper since that's white against white to make it a little easier to see. So see, I folded on the second fold so that both of them are up, but it's only the outer one that gets the adhesive. And then I'm going to leave everything flat and close the left side of the card against that exposed adhesive. So this could not be a more simple little mechanism, and whatever I put on the front face of that pop-up is going to pop up. So I'm going to take my frame, I want it to go right here, so I'm going to lay it face down in front of the platform. Now what I'm going to do is just add my glue to the front face of that platform, and I'm going to kind of avoid that little scoopy area where it's not going to hit the frame. Then leaving my frame nice and straight, I'm going to close from the right side of the card and just press that platform to the back of the frame, and then it's going to pick it up in exactly the right position. So that is all there is to that basic assembly of the flip frame. What happens is that as the card closes, the frame comes down, the corner kind of hits the right side of the card and slides into the closed position. So this is so generic, it can be any theme, and for my card today, I've chosen to assemble one of our gnomes from our Gnome and Santa set, holding a flower from our Backyard Charms set. Now the opening in the middle of that frame is about 2 inches by 2 3/4 inches, so it's going to fit all of our animals and charms just perfectly. The smaller mushroom comes out of the Gnome and Santa set, whereas the larger one comes out of the Backyard Charms. And I'm just going to make a little mushroom scene here in the corner of my frame, and I'm including one of the flowers that comes included in the flip frame pop-up. And of course you can do all of this decorating before adding the frame to the pop-up if you prefer, but I just wanted to show how easy it is to decorate after the fact as well. And what's cool about the flip frame having all of those rectangles is you can combine them in a variety of different ways. So as I decorate the right side of the card, I have to watch for catch points. So the edge of that grass right there would be a potential catch point if I put it in exactly the right spot to where the frame caught it. But as long as the frame touches the scene lower than that edge, it will be fine. So just always check your embellishments on the right that you're not impeding the closing of the pop-up. So before I glued down my little mushroom scene, I checked it first to make sure that it wasn't in the spot that would catch the frame. For a greeting, I'm going to use Happy Day, and I took those words out of our new Word Set 12 Anniversary set. And then just another one of those little flowers that are included in the flip frame set, and then my inside of the card is done. There is a nice little vine that comes included in the flip frame die set, and what I did for my card today is I actually took 5 of them and created a wreath and then embellished with a couple of the flowers. So last year we released these memory charms, and I thought it would be fun to have the flip frame be a bigger version of that same little frame, and that way if you have both die sets, they're very compatible. They're going to coordinate perfectly. So what I'm doing as a simple lead-in on the front of my card is just using that small frame from the memory charms and then that wreath I made and just embellishing with a couple of the small mushrooms and flowers. And then I'm just going to have those butterflies from the Backyard Charms kind of holding up the frames. And I definitely like just making a simple lead-in card front for a pop-up card, since it's most likely going to be displayed open. In this case, my card is 5 by 6 when closed, which means I can use an A7 envelope. It's nice and flat and will mail for a single stamp. Another option is a slimline. So I did a 4 by 9 slimline card here, and then you've got room for 2 frames on the front. Once you've mastered basic assembly, I would start experimenting with maybe some window cards. So let's think here, if I had used one of the rectangles to cut a window in the front of my card that would line up with the frame in the closed position, the gnome would be upside down peeking through the window and then would flip over and turn right side up as you opened it. Or here's another window card idea. See the gnome through the window, open the card and the frame stands up and you see the gnome, and then keep opening it and it flips over to reveal a second gnome and a hidden greeting. Now assembly on that was exactly the same as with the first card. I didn't have to do anything different. See here, it's assembled with the left side pop-up, but then I cut a window in the right side and then turned the entire card around before decorating. So the only addition was cutting a window. Okay, I'll end this assembly video with some design team cards. This one is by Kelly Booth. I like her choice to use the stencil feature with a white gel pen to highlight the frame. Kelly has mentioned that she loves the 3 kind of crazy daisies that are in the flip frame pop-up, and she's been using them a lot on other projects as well. Another card by Kelly Booth, this time with an open frame, so that she's got the butterfly charm from the Backyard Charms dangling in the opening, including the fairy, the snail, the mushroom, so all of those Backyard Charms with the gnome set and the flip frame. You can also decorate the top of the pop-up arm if you want. You can see that on this one I've added some flowers and vines to kind of disguise it. The gnome set also makes a Santa, and Frances Byrne has shown that perfectly with this Christmas card. Karen Aiken is so clever in how she decorated the flip frame as a unicorn. She used Animal Add-ons 1 for the ears and the hippo tutu from the safari animals as the eyelashes. Speaking of the safari animals, they will fit on the flip frame perfectly. Kelly Booth made this fun card. And another card by Kelly, this time a slimline version, and she's used those memory charms on the front of the card. Here's that slimline card by Lois Bach where she's used 2 frames by reversing the folds on the second one. And then another slimline by Lois, this time with just a single pop-up frame in a holiday theme. Fran Sabad combined a lot of the new dies on this really cute card. And then another slimline version, this time by Karen Aiken, and just look at that incredible scene that she's created. So in addition to being generic and easy to assemble, it's very versatile because you can really explore some of those window techniques as well. The Flip Frame Pop-Up Die Set is available now from our website, KarenBurniston.com, as well as a lot of your favorite local and online retailers. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com, where you can find out information about purchasing these dies, as well as links to all my other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.